Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, a restaurant chain from the 90s is making a comeback.
Also, should Ohio State fans sue Ryan Day after losing to Michigan again?
All that and more on the way next. We're at the time of the year where we keep getting these year-end lists. TikTok just put out theirs, the top trends on TikTok of 2024. See how many of these you remember. The number one trend, Jules LeBron's demure trend.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that was a top thing on TikTok. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you remember that one?
Well, I've said before on the show, I don't have a personal TikTok, but if I know of it, and I'm not on TikTok, then I know that it's one of those ones that's like far-reaching.
Yeah, that was a trend, not just on TikTok, but just in life.
Yep.
Number two was Charlie XCX, Brat Summer. Mm-hmm. And then we also had A Man in Finance, that meme.
I definitely knew that one.
And then some of the other ones here, obviously Moo Dang, the pygmy hippo baby from Thailand. Pesto, who's an oversized king penguin from Australia.
I missed that one. I don't think I remember Pesto.
It also says Knights of the Rotund Table. I don't know what that is. And Hudson's infrequent travel blogs round out the list. So this shows a lot, though. You're not even on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok. I spend I would estimate, if I had to estimate, like an hour a week, maybe, if I'm being honest. And this just shows how the algorithms just give everybody with TikTok something completely different. Although I'm aware of most of these, because I sit here and read the news and about the TikTok trends every day, I didn't see a single dang one of these come up on my actual TikTok.
You're right.
My TikTok is way different from everybody else's.
Yep.
My TikTok doesn't include the trends, I guess.
Doesn't give you the trendy stuff.
No.
Gives you more niche things.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, that's probably the case for many people where it's just like, well, I never saw that. Or they ended up seeing it later, a couple weeks later when it makes its way over to Instagram or Facebook Reels or even YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And so, it's funny to see the trickle down effect from TikTok where it's like first we'll go viral on TikTok and then a week later it'll make its way to Instagram. 2 weeks later it'll make its way to Facebook and then a month later it'll be on YouTube.
Right. And the thing that people used, once Ellen is doing it, and now she's not on the air anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the end. That's when a trend is that's when it's passed through the entire life cycle.
That's the end.
Is when it hits Ellen. I don't know what the equivalent of Ellen is now.
Maybe when the news starts covering it.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes the news will be like, there's a new trend on TikTok or on the internet.
And the real ones will be like, this was 3 months ago.
Yeah, right. And so it's so funny to me because they'll be like, it had 3 million hits. Who calls it hits? Who calls it hits? It's plays. Come on. Can we just say views, plays?
Views. Everybody, I always said views.
Yeah, views. So I always think it's funny when they're like, it had 3 million hits. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Hits is like either baseball or
Right.
when in the 2000s when things were going on the internet, maybe when you watch old TV shows where the internet was new and they're like, we're getting so many hits on this website.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the end. That's the end of a trend's life cycle.
That's when it's passed all the way through. I don't know. None of these are like, oh, I feel like I missed out because I didn't see it on my TikTok. But at the same time, I'd like TikTok to consider me cool enough to show me the trendy things.
Right. You are kind of missing out, I guess. But I can't judge. Like I said, I don't have a TikTok.
Yeah. Why don't you?
I just personally don't relate to short form content as much. I'm more of a long form person, so I enjoy documentary style videos or storytelling stuff that is just more long form. So I just don't consume short form content that often. And if I do, it's typically on Instagram, and so I just have not found a need for TikTok.
So you have time.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I think TikTok is for everybody who feels like they don't have time, but the truth is they actually do, because then they wind up spending hours on TikTok.
Right.
I am really happy today. It feels good. It's still less than a week since Michigan beat Ohio State, so I'm still riding that high. Ohio State fans are still spiraling out of control, even as they sit as the third favorite to win the college football playoff. which does make me want to be a betting man against them. But nevertheless, I saw this come up on Twitter that an account that has been a treasure trove of enjoyment as a college football fan. It's called Message Board Geniuses. They pull some of the most ridiculous things that people post on like college football fan message boards. This one takes the cake, though. Earlier this week, I've been thinking about the repeated letdowns against Michigan, and it raises the question, do we as loyal fans have any legal recourse? Sure, it sounds extreme, but hear me out. Here's the idea.
Oh, no.
Filing a lawsuit against Ryan Day and Ohio State for one, breach of contract. As fans, we're arguably third-party beneficiaries of Ryan Day's coaching contract with Ohio State. His failure to deliver on expectations harms us indirectly.
Okay.
Fraud/misrepresentation. The program sells tickets, merchandise, and donations specifically in this current NIL era under the premise of being a championship caliber team. When those promises aren't fulfilled, that's a financial and emotional hit on us. Does he have a point?
I mean, but that's how all sports work. Only one team can win.
He's got more.
Oh, no.
Negligence. Could his poor decision-making constitute negligence, causing foreseeable emotional harm to the fan base?
Oh, my gosh.
He's already admitted that they ran the ball too much. So he admits that he was possibly negligent. And then finally, this is the last thing. Consumer protection laws. Are we victims of deceptive marketing? What about the money we've invested expecting better performance? I know some might laugh, but even filing a lawsuit, even if thrown out, could send a strong message to the university and the program. We invest too much time, money, and emotion to accept these results without accountability. Maybe that's a you problem.
Yeah, I think that's a you problem 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking. First of all, don't invest your money into a college football program and expect that they're always going to win the championship. They're always going to win the game. That's not how
they're ever going to be Michigan. Don't expect those things.
It's just not how college sports work. This is not professional sports, and you can't even put those type of expectations on professional teams, even though there's way less of them. But yeah, that's a bit extreme, bud.
Isn't it funny too the way that obviously this fan I know Ohio State has a crazy fan base. This guy's not representative of the entire fan base. He's
Definitely
just
an
extreme end of what the fan base thinks. But I do think that the conversation, like the tone of the way people talk about college sports has gotten so out of control where like, you think about, I know that at this, like college students are adults.
Yeah.
The college athletes are adults, but they're also still like, they're going to school. It's supposed to be the first thing. And the athletics is like second or part of that.
Right.
And you're treating it like it's life and death when they like, that's their job is to come and win for you. And the coach is to make them win. The coach is to he's like a professor. He's a teacher. Yes, he's very highly paid. Yeah. But his job is to equip them for the future, technically. Not necessarily win you a championship as a fan.
Yeah. To me, if there was anything that I had, as a qualm, it would be the fact that these coaches are getting paid millions and millions of dollars now for these jobs as head coaches. And some of the coordinators even are getting millions and millions of dollars. It's like, hey, come on, can you come up with a better scheme, come up with a better plan here? That part I get. But yeah, to be super upset about it, knowing that these are not professional players, even though some of them are getting paid now, but they're still not professional. They're amateur. This is college. Like, don't take it this seriously.
All this said, Urban Meyer is rumored to be interested in coaching Ohio State again. Do you buy it? Do you buy it?
I mean, do I buy it or do I want it? I feel like those are two different things.
I'm glad that you can separate the two. Earlier on the show, we were talking about TikTok's top trends of 2024. Allie revealed why she's not on TikTok at all. She doesn't use it. And I don't remember if you said this on the air or not, if this was a term we used, but the word escape.
Yeah, I think I said that off the mic about how I feel like TikTok offers an escape to many people, but I noticed among people that I knew who did use it sometimes, where not only was it offering an escape, but it was also just taking so much of their focus in the moment that they were in, that they really weren't in that moment. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I stayed off of it.
You're afraid you have no self-control. Got it. It offers so much of an escape that sometimes it's pulling you out of the stuff you didn't even before
it's pulling you out of reality entirely.
Yeah, you didn't want to escape from this stuff, the good stuff,
right?
And you're missing out on that too because you think TikTok has something better. I think that there's a lot of things, not just TikTok, that can give you an escape in life because we have troubles, we have stuff going on that you don't want to constantly have to think about. And I think for me, like, I don't know, we just talked about sports. I think sports is an escape for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think there's healthier escapes than others. And I think generally having some escape in life to just give yourself mentally a break is good. But the thing about escaping is whenever you return from your escape, your problems haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Just walking away and being like, let me just look at TikTok for a while instead of thinking about this thing that's looming over my life.
Right.
The thing that's looming over your life is not going to disappear. And so now you return to it after you've scrolled TikTok for whatever your escape is, you're back there. And now you've just lost valuable time that could have been spent possibly solving that problem or whatever it is. I want to let you know, you don't have to quit TikTok. You don't have to stop watching sports or whatever your escapes are. But it is important, too, in your life, give some space, too, to that problem solving and to not an escape, but something that can actually help you towards advancing past these things that you're struggling with. And that's what God can do. You spend a little bit of time with God. It doesn't have to be a ton, but think about how much time you spend on TikTok. Could you slice 15 minutes of that away to spend some time with God and see the difference that it can make? To see how not escaping all the time and finding something that can be a positive in your life, see how much of a positive that can actually be.
Yeah.
Jesus wants to do that for you. And all you have to do is ask. It's literally as simple as accessing TikTok. Just say, hey, God, I want you here right now with me. Help me to deal with the problems I'm dealing with. Give me a good day today, and he'll do it. He will be there with you. You want to know more? RadioU.com/free gift. Yesterday, us and much of the rest of the world excited to get our Spotify Wrapped. And one of the things that was new this year with Spotify Wrapped that I didn't get to experience this before the show was over yesterday, but I did take time to listen to it afterwards, is everyone got an AI-generated podcast analyzing your music tastes and what you listened to in the past year. Did you listen to yours?
I haven't yet. I honestly kind of forgot to do that.
Oh, that's a big bummer. Because a lot of people really have just been reacting to it and saying it's pretty corny.
Okay.
Kind of like, I feel like everybody except you is going to go ahead and listen to it, but it's like you expect something different than your Wrapped gave you. You expect something creative, and it's just really like two voices kind of reading your Wrapped and not really adding a lot of commentary.
Oh.
I know with AI too, like it's so hesitant from like using ChatGPT and stuff and just any form of AI. They're so hesitant to offend anybody with it.
Yeah.
That they don't want to say anything that could possibly be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's no it's not like they roast your tastes or anything like that.
Right.
They're just like, you listened to the most on September 24th. Wonder what was going on that day. Like, that's the most interesting it ever gets.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
I was hoping for more.
Yeah. So, maybe you're right to just ignore it.
I think I might take a listen to it, but I doubt I'll listen to the whole 3 minutes of it.
It definitely does not feel like a big positive moment for AI where it's like, look, the power of AI.
It's so creative.
Yeah, no. It's,
not at all.
No, definitely not. But if it weren't for this, none of us would get a podcast analyzing our music tastes. So
that's true.
It felt special until you actually heard it.
Until you heard it and you're like, this is not special at all.
But you know what was fun, though, is, and I don't remember if they've done this in the past, but in your Spotify Wrapped too, you can go through and a bunch of artists that you listen to will have recorded thank yous in Spotify to thank you for listening and stuff like that. So 21 Pilots, Silent Planet, Matt Carney, Thousand of a Crutch, a bunch of the artists I listened to this year.
Yeah.
All went through, and I watched a lot of those to see what they had to say. It was nice.
Yeah. During, how you scroll through your Wrapped, and that's kind of like going through like Instagram stories.
Yeah.
So I think for everybody, they put the top artist in if they had like a thank you.
Yeah, right.
So I got to see the one from my top artist, which was Bad Sons. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. I think they've done it a few, like in the past couple of years they've done that, but I feel like they've ramped it up now where they're really encouraging artists and bands to record videos.
Well, I appreciated it more because like the other thing you see is on like Twitter or whatever, or Instagram, the artists will post out just a screenshot of how many people listen to you this year.
Yeah.
And they'll go, thank you, fans.
Like they get their own Wrapped.
But this video, like the videos that they would record in the stories in Spotify, felt much more personal, even though obviously they're not personal to you.
Yeah.
But it just felt a little more human,
Right.
and a little more actually like they were thanking you than just a post on Instagram.
Yeah. But I do like to see those stats from them too. I think it's fun to get the artist version of the Wrapped to see like how many streams they got and what their top listened to song. Gable Price and Friends posted theirs, and their top listened to location was Dallas, Texas.
I wonder why.
I know. I was
now,
like,
we're the AI podcast. I wonder what was going on in Dallas,
what's going on in
Texas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
They like Gable Price and Friends. Well, hey, we like them here in Westerville too.
Yeah, we too. We do. And I would just once though like to see an artist post out their stats of all the people that listen and be like, not good enough. We need more. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Now, do it this what you will, but U.S. officials from both the FBI and the CISA, do you even know what that is?
I'm not sure. I got to look and see.
Some agency. We didn't find out what that is a abbreviation for. Either way, I mean, the FBI should be enough.
It's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency.
Who even knew that existed?
I didn't know, but it makes sense.
We need that.
We definitely need that.
Cybersecurity and whatever else. Either way, the FBI warning probably should be enough.
Yeah.
They want people to know that you should, if you can, use encrypted text messaging, and even also, if you can, encrypted voice communication on your phones as well. The reason being is that a Chinese hacking group called Salt Typhoon recently tried to hack. They attacked AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and Lumen Technologies. And because of this hack 2 months ago, the malicious actors still may be able to gain access to sensitive information through our communications. Therefore, encrypted texting if you can.
Yeah.
You even know what that means?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure how it all works, but I do know that the text messaging services that I use are encrypted.
Yeah.
I also have like a pin on like my Facebook messaging.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's very important obviously to do that. I didn't know that you could encrypt your voice though when it comes to like actually talking to somebody on a phone call. So I'd have to look into that to see how that works. It seems a little involved.
The only familiarity I have is I feel like WhatsApp is all encrypted.
WhatsApp is for sure encrypted, and that's because it's international.
Yeah, I don't know if that includes voice too, does it?
I have no idea about voice, but I know the text messaging itself is encrypted.
What I also have heard is that WhatsApp has its own issues, but I mean, at least it's encrypted.
It's encrypted.
I also just don't know, like, are we texting and calling it, certainly not calling enough to where this is a concern? Or do you think that they're like, when I get a code texted to me to log into my bank or something stupid, which I hate, that they could read that and then quickly use that code to log into my bank instead? Or?
Right. Well, and that's why you've seen a lot of people, when it comes to the two-factor authentication stuff, which often is set up with your text number or with your phone. They'll be like, call me with a code or text me with the code or whatever. So I'm sure that's a part of this. But also, I know people are now setting up for their 2FA, and they're setting up with a authenticator app.
Yeah, which I hate.
Yeah, but that's an extra security step. If you want to be extra secure, you can do that. So yeah, I'm sure that's a part of it where people get codes all the time for banking, for accounts that they have, all the time it's sent through text message.
I wonder what it is that they actually are like specifically that they think they could we are concerned that they will have access to, that they will use in some way nefariously. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. Because for these codes, right, they're only valid for like 5 minutes. So somebody like seriously sitting there monitoring, they already have my login and password, and they're like, if we can quickly do this. I don't know if that's what's going on. I feel like that's actually not. It has to be other stuff.
Yeah.
But what other stuff?
Well, obviously, don't text sensitive information.
Yeah.
You know, don't even give sensitive information over the phone.
I don't really give any information.
Well,
I don't really talk to people.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just encrypting my life.
That's good.
By not talking to people. Except publicly on the radio every morning.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're not really doing too well when it comes to this. But yeah, definitely don't send sensitive information. They did say, though, in this article that talks about these officials from the FBI and the CISA, that this specific attack from this Chinese hacking group called Salt Typhoon was going on right before the election happened. And they were actually trying to gain information on different numbers that were in both the Trump camp and also the Harris camp. So that's what they were going after. But obviously, if they can access just anyone's information, they're going to take advantage of that.
So it's a political thing.
Yeah.
They're going to use that probably to divide us.
Not surprising, right?
Yeah. So don't let them win. Let's all unite.
Unite with encryption.
Love one another, even if we didn't vote the same.
Yes.
We don't need to vote. We don't need to know who everybody voted for either.
Nope. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. Sam's Club seemingly desperate to remind everybody that, you know how Costco has hot dogs? So do we. They have unveiled something they call holodogs.
Okay.
Which are hot dogs that capture the flavors of the holidays that they are rolling out to a few select locations. If you go to the right Costco or Sam's Club, sorry, Sam's Club, the right Sam's Club on the right day, you will be able to try one of these holodogs. Now, what are the holodogs? There are three options. I'll say there's four. There's three options. Holodog 1, the club mashup, topped with that classic holiday combination of mashed potatoes and Christmas cookies.
Oh my goodness. No.
Holodog number 2, Something Sweet. See what they did there? Something? Because of Sam's Club. That's topped with pumpkin pie and candy canes.
Okay.
Think Buddy the Elf would be a fan. Finally, Seasons Meetings, topped with turkey and prime rib. Oh, now we're talking. Why would you not order that one?
That one, to me, sounds like the only somewhat...
Normal?
The only somewhat, edible one.
Well, maybe all of those not quite to your taste. Fortunately, they also allow you to build your own.
Okay.
Where you can combine one of their Thanksgiving toppings of your choice, either Members Mark hickory smoked whole turkey. So I guess that's is that whiskey?
Whole turkey?
Well, Members Mark that's Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
With the wax. Yeah. Okay, so you can either do turkey, Members Mark Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, or Members Mark apple pie. One of those three, and then mix it with the Christmas toppings, which are, they're all Members Mark. Fully cooked prime rib, Christmas cutout cookies, or crushed Dosher's candy canes. So you can you can get creative on your own.
Yeah. I think I don't have a Sam's Club membership, but I don't think if I did, I would be on the lookout for this in any way.
I don't either, but also it's not coming anywhere near us. This is in New York City on December 5th, which is today, Nashville on December 9th, and Dallas on December 12th.
So it really is very select.
Very select, but this can be inspo for you to make your own hot dogs at home, holodogs at home.
Right.
Just put some mashed potato, go on a Sam's Club trip, get some mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie, boom.
Yeah. I do think
Holodog.
I do think that name is quite creative.
Yeah,
Holodog.
I like that.
That's a fun one. Fun to say that.
Here on what is your stance on hot dogs generally?
I don't eat them regularly. If I go to a ballpark, if I go to a baseball game.
For Dime a Dog Night?
Yeah.
How many?
I think the most that I've eaten is probably 3.
That's it?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yep.
3?
3 in one sitting.
You got a long way to go to
What's
be
the most
really
you had?
Initiated here to the Hudson Show. Hot dogs, I don't quite know what I've gone to, but I definitely have. There's a historic moment when Sonic was doing 50-cent corn dogs.
Okay.
And I ate 8.
8 corn dogs.
8 corn dogs.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I could go higher, though.
I mean,
And I've gone to Dime a Dog Night and not gotten my fill, but eaten like 6 or something. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I'm not a hot dog fiend. I'm no Joey Chestnut, so I'm not packing them down.
I like the idea here. I like the creativity. Candy canes on a hot dog. Don't think I can get behind that. The texture thing. Other than that, though, maybe there's something about cookies on a hot dog. It's time for Love 'em or Leave 'em on the Hudson Show. 8772 RadioU. Whenever you've got relationship issues you're dealing with, we can try to help. That's what we're going to do here for this situation, where you can also let us know your advice for this Love 'em or Leave 'em, where you've got a gal who, well, let's just get to it. She says, first of all, I'll admit that I'm part of the minority in that I don't like dogs. My husband is the opposite. He loves dogs, especially pugs. And has had one growing up his entire life. We got married in May, and about a month ago, he brought up to me that he thinks we should get a dog. I knew that this would come up at some point in our relationship, but I didn't think it would be this soon, before we even lived together for an entire year. By the way, we've been going out we've been together for about 4.5 years. I told him I wasn't ready yet, and I also told him that I do not think pugs are cute, and I'd rather get a different dog. This is a huge compromise for me, simply indicating I would get a dog in the future. The next few days to few weeks, he keeps showing me photos of pugs for sale. I keep not reacting to the photos because they are not cute to me. Then, last week, he tells me he set up a visit with a breeder to look at pugs on Friday.
Oh.
I start crying and make it clear I do not want a dog right now. I'm thinking maybe he'll just go and look. I look him dead in the eyes, say, please do not buy one. I'm not okay with this. I, in my heart, didn't believe that he would. He's not the spontaneous type. But on Friday, he sends me pictures and videos of pugs. I don't respond. I think I'm in the clear. Then Saturday comes. He tells me he needs to make money for the playpen he bought. What? He needs to make money for the playpen he bought. I ask why he bought one. He replies, for the dog. I thought he was kidding until I kept questioning it more and figured out he's not. He can't seem to understand that what he did was wrong, is making me question whether I want to be with him or not. What is the appropriate response to this situation? Love him or leave him.
Oh.
He's buying a dog, even though she keeps saying no.
Oh, this is so messed up. Oh, man.
We need some help here.
Can't wait for the thoughts.
We need some help. 8772 RadioU. What do you do? How do you get out of this? How do you wriggle out of this jam that you found yourself in? 8772 RadioU. We first of all just heard from Justin, who says, pugs are ugly, leave him. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Regina, she says, oh boy, my husband and I spent at least agreed he could adopt our cat before he just got her. Definitely communicate that you are a team, and blatantly going against what you asked was not appreciated, and how this marriage cannot work like that going forward. Then at least meet the dog and see if he can win you over.
Not a bad
Leave the
idea.
door open to the dog.
Yep.
If needed, seek out marriage counseling. That's a big commitment. Marriage is a big commitment. And starting this early with this big of an issue doesn't indicate good things to come,
Yeah.
to say the least.
To say the least.
Susanna simply says, leave him. Hard stop.
Hard stop.
This is one of the, so far, the most clearly, like,
Clearly
universal leave-ems, I would say.
Yeah.
Justin says she needs to tell him, a different Justin, says she needs to tell him how serious it is that he's making a decision that affects them both without her consent. And Justin, right, not just not her consent, her opposition.
Yeah. She does not want this dog. This specific dog.
She didn't want this kind of dog. She really didn't want a dog at all. She definitely didn't want one now, and she didn't want a pug now. And he's still like, guess what I'm doing?
And he, yeah, the fact that it's like repeated,
Yeah.
like she's repeatedly told him she doesn't want to do this. She's cried and still moved forward. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
It's not good. Justin did say, it could be worse. I bought a $30,000 car for 3 months before getting married. But we've been married 10 years, so there's hope.
So there is hope.
But y'all weren't married yet. We also heard from Jordan, who says he messed up by not listening to you, but if the dog is already here, decide what's next together. Could this be a trial to see if you can live with the dog and your husband? Use it as a way to rebuild trust.
Yeah.
All right, where are we going? What's your stance?
So at first I thought I was going to be siding with the guy because I was like, oh, she's just, a person that doesn't like dogs. You can get over that, But if she's like allergic or something like that, then obviously that's bad. But there are just people that just genuinely don't like dogs. And I get that. But the fact that
to interject, that is a compromise that can be made. You might be like, I really don't like dogs, but as long as I don't have to take care of it really normally, that's doesn't have to be a big deal.
Right. And I think a lot of people, the reason they don't like dogs is because they do come with a lot of responsibilities, especially if they're a puppy. So I get that too. But yeah, I was originally going to side with the guy, but then as the story kept going, it just became impossible to defend him because, I mean, she's given you so much clear communication. At least she has detailed it out. We haven't heard his side of the story, but she's detailed out what I would consider pretty clear communication that she does not want this dog and doesn't want a dog currently right now. She just said right now. Doesn't mean you can't have a dog in the future. So just chill. Enjoy your marriage together. It's new. It's fresh. Like, just get used to living with one another and figure that out first and figure out your communication first before you go make this decision that might end up ending your relationship.
Here's an extreme tactic you could take once he brings the dog home, right? You take the dog, drop it off at somebody else's house with or ask, you know what you should do a few times before? Say, hey, can I take whatever we name the dog? Can I take Magnus? Can I take him over to somebody else's house that they wanted a dog? And he's going to say, no, of course not.
Right.
And then you do it anyways and drop it off there and see how he likes it.
But that's
Tit
not,
for tat.
no.
Tit for tat, I say.
No, you don't fight fire with fire. It's not a good idea, especially in a marriage. You should know this.
That might be the only way he gets the point.
You should know this.
It might be the only way to get through to him. Because you've been very clear elsewise.
Right. This might be a situation where you have to get a third party involved.
The person you drop the dog off at.
Or maybe someone that can be a voice of reason for him.
Yeah. Like us.
Sure. Yeah, she is going to get advice, but I mean like someone that has some influence over him. Yeah. Because clearly she doesn't.
Yeah. She had some other details. The family, his family, very much on his side. So.
Oh, no. That's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe the dad or the mom could help.
Doesn't seem like it.
Oh, this is rough.
Well, they have pugs all the time. So.
Oh, yeah. So they just all think that she's an evil person. To
be a Parker or whatever this family is. We don't know. It's just what we do. We're Parkers. We have pugs.
We have pugs. The
no
Parkers
matter what our wives say. This is horrible. It's still less about the dog and more about that he totally did not listen to you. That's problematic. Counseling, something you need to get somebody else involved.
Yeah.
Or just go. A restaurant chain that has been closed out of commission since 2004 is poised to make a comeback in 2025. What's old is new again. We're talking about Chi-Chi's. Have you ever seen a Chi-Chi's?
I've seen them, but I've never eaten out a Chi-Chi's.
I don't think I have been inside a Chi-Chi's either. Somebody may tell me different, but they closed in 2004.
Yeah.
I think my neighborhood might have had, I think I saw a building that was a Chi-Chi's.
That it got turned to something else.
Yeah, or it was just sitting there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I surely don't remember eating at a Chi-Chi's. But Chi-Chi's was huge, it seems, in the 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. All until this is a crazy thing to have happen.
Yeah.
A hepatitis A outbreak.
Oh, yikes.
That is a crazy thing to happen at a restaurant.
Yeah, that's insane. And the fact that it was traced back to the green onions served in their salsa, it got 650 people sick and resulted in 4 deaths and hundreds of lawsuits.
Yeah.
So that's what killed Chi-Chi's.
Well, you can understand why they want to bring it back. Because what are the odds something like that would happen again? Like nothing like that feels like it's happened since.
Yeah. It is the largest ever in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. They can't possibly have that bad of something happen again.
You would hope not.
20 years to live and learn, to think about what they did back then wrong, and to reflect, and now to get a new start. Apparently, it is the son of the founder, one of the founders of Chi-Chi's, is the one that's working on bringing it back. And you might, Chi-Chi's, the name might be familiar if you've never seen one of the restaurants, because I think it says the trademark is owned by Hormel Foods. I think you can still buy like Chi-Chi's sauce or something.
Okay.
Like at the grocery store. I think they have like bottles of Chi-Chi's stuff.
Okay.
But I don't, like, obviously the restaurant's been closed for 20 years. So
yeah. I'm not sure. I guess I haven't noticed anything in the salsa aisle of Chi-Chi's bottle, but I'll have to be on the lookout for that to see if I can see something.
Do we need to do this, though? Do we need to bring back a 20-year-old restaurant that was closed for very good reasons?
A Tex-Mex restaurant? I don't know. I feel like I never ate there, so I can't say like I would love this to be back or whatever. I miss this food or whatever, but I'm sure there's some people that loved it.
I guess there will.
It was popular, so
it was popular. There will be older people with fonder memories and disposable incomes because their kids have moved out. And they're like, what do we do on a Tuesday night? Chi-Chi's just reopened and they've got half-price margaritas. I see why they think it might work.
Yeah, I don't see anything against it, but I will say I feel like the best Mexican food you can often get are like those mom and pop restaurants that are one of a kind, you know. So, you know, it's cool that they're wanting to bring this back, but as far as if this will become my number one, you know, like place to go get Mexican food, I highly doubt it.
They always want to play on nostalgia and you know, work you on your memories, but why not make new memories at a better place that didn't kill 4 people? We are doing a food fight, and in this case, we have the return of the McRib from McDonald's. This week, it made its way back onto the menu. Allie's never had this before, right?
Yeah, I've never had this before, and I'm so excited to try it because it actually does smell really good.
It does smell good. There's also a holiday pie, which is new. McDonald's usually brings it back pretty much every year for the holidays. And you've never had that either, have you?
Nope, never had any of their pies.
I'm sure you're going to like at least one of these things.
Okay.
Now, we do have to be careful, very careful with the McRib because it is messy. But we ordered it the way it comes, all with all the sauce, as well as the onions and pickles. We're not going to shy away. This is how McDonald himself intended for us to have it.
Okay. I'm excited to try this.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's quite messy.
Well, why don't you go first?
Oh, okay. Should I
Since it's your
take
first
the annual
experience.
the first
Yeah,
bite?
the ceremonial.
Ceremonial. That's the word I was looking for. Not annual.
She's going in. And
all right.
It's pretty bready, isn't it? Like
yeah.
They try to soak it all up with that hoagie roll or whatever it is. Kaiser roll, I think you call it.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Yeah?
Go for it.
Would you order it again?
Maybe.
Or order it over other menu items at McDonald's?
I just don't go to McDonald's that often, so I'm not sure if I would, but I don't hate it. I like it. Tastes good. Lots of sauce.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's isn't it such an unusual texture for a meat sandwich?
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, this is like nothing I've ever really had before.
You're able to bite through it almost too easily.
Yeah.
It's what makes you think that, is this actually meat at all?
Right.
Because most meat has some like resistance to it.
This does not. Meat.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Well, I think you're gonna like the holiday pie better.
Okay.
Because it is how I would describe it. It's like sugar cookie dough inside a pie crust, like a sugar.
It just like fell apart on me.
In my experiences, they can be very crumbly, especially if you get them like if these were. I obviously had to drive them back and whatever.
Yeah, but if they're really fresh.
Yeah, they weren't delivered here. If we had just gotten them straight out of the drive-through, they're so doughy that they just fall right apart. Yeah, you have to be careful.
Oh, right.
So doughy and melty.
Okay.
So this one is kind of.
You tried this one first.
Okay.
since I went first last time.
Know.
You already know you're going to like it?
I wish they had this all year round.
Oh, I'm excited. All right, let me try.
Yeah. Yours looks like it already has a butt. I guess that's because it fell apart.
It fell apart.
Does it taste like the holidays?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it tastes like a sugar cookie.
How does it stack up? We had some Little Debbie Christmas snacks a few weeks ago. Would you rather have this pie from McDonald's or like those Little Debbie mini muffins or Christmas tree donuts?
I think the Little Debbie, in all honesty, had better flavoring than this. I have always found sugar cookies in general to be quite bland.
Yeah.
Because it's just the sugar.
Right.
So to me, this is not something that I would probably choose to eat on a regular basis. I'm not a dessert person in general. But yeah, there's just not enough flavoring there for me to be like, I want this as my dessert.
It's not sugar like cotton candy, but it is just sugar flavor. There's no anything else going on.
Yeah.
But I think I just like it because it's so doughy.
It is. It does melt in your mouth for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate McDonald's too. Today when I went, you know how so many fast food places have, like when you pull up to the drive-through speaker and it has some stupid recording that plays. Yeah. They literally interrupted the recording to ask me what my order was. They're like, we don't even need to do this.
Yeah. They're like, the guy's about to ask you, hello, will you be using your mobile? And then they cut him off.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I could just have an actual person say that because what happens? You answer the recording.
And then you have to answer
and then they still have to say the same thing again. So.
Yep. It's very annoying.
I'm glad they did that. I don't know why the McRib, why it goes away and comes back. Mm-hmm. I wish they would just make up their minds with it. But I feel like it wouldn't feel as special.
Yeah, that's the thing. They want it to be something that feels special, exclusive, and all of those things.
I've heard the reason that they take it away and bring it back is like they bring it back when they need like a stock bump.
Oh.
Which isn't it nice to just have like a thing in your pocket that like, if we're not making enough money, we'll just give the people this.
Yeah, it's their trump card.
They can't resist.
Yeah, they got to play it.
And it is true. We had to try this.
Yeah, we did. I'm honestly shocked that I waited this long to try it.
Give it
all those years in college where I had no money and went to McDonald's on a regular basis to get like McChickens.
Yeah.
And I never tried the McRib.
Like 4 times the price of that?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not expensive, but it is 4 times the price of a McChicken.
Yeah.
So would you rather have 4 McChickens or 1 McRib?
I think I'd rather have a McChicken.
Allie, you mentioned something that I think is important to share with everyone.
Yeah, so in college, McDonald's rolled out the special McChicken deal where you could get 2 for $2.
Uh-huh.
And
2 for 2 clucks. Should
funny.
Be. Yeah.
Very punny of you. But yeah, I became known in my friend group as the McChicken Queen because I ate McChickens anytime we would go like out and get McDonald's or something. Because, in college you're getting cheap stuff if you're going out to eat. I'd always get McChickens because it was the 2 for $2.
Which makes it seem like you really like McChickens, but what you really like is a good deal.
I really love a good deal because I really don't, like I said, I don't eat at McDonald's really that much at all anymore.
Because why?
They don't have the $2 for...
The deals have gotten worse.
Now it's like $2 for 1 McChicken.
That's right.
So yeah, I definitely don't... get them as often, eat them as often. So I probably have lost my McChicken Queen moniker, but I used to have it.
We're bringing it back now. Now that you said that, we can't let it go.
I literally haven't eaten one in probably a year.
If I'm known as the hot dog man, then you are going to be the McChicken Queen. That can go on our Christmas card or something that we send out. Hot dog man and McChicken Queen.
It sounds like a really terrible comic book.
Yeah, somebody should do that.
It's like Barnacle Boy.
Yeah. If we were superheroes and those were our titles, what would our powers be?
Oh, I would shoot McChickens out of my arms or something.
You just have a McChicken cannon. Because I was just simply thinking throwing a hot dog.
You just throw hot dogs at people.
I do have an howitzer for an arm, so I think I could do some damage.
You could do some tossing,
but then
tossing at the dog.
I wouldn't want to waste hot dogs like that. I would want to eat them, so...
You take a bite out and then you throw it.
Yeah. Or if people threw hot dogs at me, I'd catch them in my mouth no matter what. And defend others from hot dogs.
Swallow them whole.
Injuries. When you say a thing like they called me the McChicken Queen, we just can't let that go.
Just can't let it be.
It sounds like you were crowned in a pageant. That there was some kind of competition, and you
that
weren't
was sponsored by McDonald's or something.
You weren't just the McChicken girl. You were the McChicken Queen.
Yeah, but also Queen was like a big thing on like social media and like that year.
Yeah.
So it was like Queen,
Once McChicken Queen, to me, always McChicken Queen. We'll never let that go. I have an idea for a new segment.
Okay.
I feel like I need to make some like flashy stuff for it, an echoey voice or something. But for now, we'll just say, do you buy it? This is where I'm going to share a quote or a statement from somebody, and we all get to decide, do we buy what they're selling?
Okay.
In other words, see if you agree with this statement from Barry Biffle.
What a name.
You can't just laugh at his name. This is his man's name.
This is the way you said it.
Barry Biffle. He's the CEO of Frontier Airlines. He said, in regards to Frontier's practice of paying gate agents as much as $10 per traveler they catch attempting to avoid paying for carry-on baggage.
Ooh.
He says, in regards to the people trying to bring the baggage on, these people are shoplifters. These are people that are stealing. It's not equitable to everyone who follows the rules. Do you buy it? If you try to sneak on a little extra luggage to a flight, is that shoplifting?
Interesting, like example, analogy for that. I guess I didn't think of it as shoplifting. I definitely thought of it as breaking the rules because it is. But I don't know if I buy it as shoplifting and how that's the similar example.
He's saying that like when you're doing that, instead of stealing merchandise from a store, right? If we like roll this out, instead of stealing merchandise from a store, which everyone can agree is shoplifting,
right?
And so you're taking stuff that they paid for. You're trying to bring stuff on that you're supposed to pay for. So and taking money away from the airline in that way.
You're stealing space from everyone else.
You're shoplifting space.
Because the overhead compartments where these extra things would go, those are limited.
That's right.
Yep, and they do get full.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I could see it with that because it is stealing space from other people that did pay to bring, But
if we're talking about people like with the old trick, right, is having like that neck pillow and filling it with clothes and stuff. Right. Is that shoplifting or is that just you trying to really maximize what you're allowed to bring on?
Right.
I definitely think there's a line. If you're literally trying to sneak stuff on, that feels like I guess I buy what he's saying.
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to really, I wore 4 hoodies. That to me, if they try to pull you on that doesn't feel like shoplifting to me.
Yeah, that's different because you're not obviously trying to take up a bunch of space with an extra bag, in the overhead compartment with that.
So we need a final verdict. He says people that try to sneak carry-on items on to the plane are shoplifters. They're stealing. Do we buy it? Do you buy it?
All right, 8772 RadioU. Let us know.
We'll see if the public agrees. Lindsay says, I definitely think it's theft for sure because it is a product that you have to add on to your ticket. So I think so. That's a tough one, though.
Yeah.
She says. And Regina, so I guess Lindsay's saying, yes, I buy it. Regina says, I guess it is stealing. Definitely done the wear more clothes thing, though.
I think we've all done that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be loaded to be able to walk onto an airplane and not be thinking, how can I make sure I actually get the most for my money's worth and like get as much as I can into the smallest amount of bags I can.
It's also important to layer on an airplane, especially if it's a longer flight, because I do feel like it gets so cold.
Sometimes, yeah. And the commercials always show the flight attendants being all nice and like, oh, would you like a blanket? That's never happened to me. Never once.
They do leave like a little, sometimes on the longer flights, they'll leave like a little fleece blanket for you on like the seat that you have to open out of a bag. Those blankets are always the worst though. They're not very comfortable. They're scratchy and they don't keep you warm.
But here we are. We are the Hudson audience as a whole, the majority, agreeing with an airline CEO.
Wow.
Who would have ever thought that could happen?
Who would have thunk it?
Yes. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.